Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today I'm going to show you how you can charge your mobile phone faster. Now, you've probably seen these YouTube videos where they wrap them in foil. Of course that's not going to work. That's never going to work. But there is ways that you can make your phone charge as it should do. So a lot of people just think that a mobile phone charger is a mobile phone charger. So they just think as long as it plugs in and as long as it fits my mobile phone, it's going to charge the phone like it should do. But that is not the case. So in this video today I'm going to show you the different types of charger, and then I'm going to talk about the different types of USB cables, because the USB cable that you plug your charger and your phone into can make a big difference as well on how fast your phone charges, whether it's using aluminium or copper, and also the different size of the cable as well, because in these cables there's 4 wires and 2 of them are used for data and 2 of them are used for power, and the 2 that are used for power have different thicknesses depending on the quality of cable you buy, or not just the quality of cable, you know, if it's designed for fast charging. So I'm going to talk about the cables later on in the video. So just to begin, I just want to show you the difference between 2 chargers. One is the charger that actually shipped with the phone, and the other charger is just an old charger that I've got lying about. They're both USB chargers, but they will vary massively when it comes to charging up the phone. So first of all, what we're going to have to do is, you don't have to do this, but you can do if you want. You can download something called Ampere, which is basically an app that would tell you how much your phone is currently using, and you know, when you're charging it, how much current's going into it to charge it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the cable that was supplied with the phone, and first of all I'm going to plug it into the cheap charger, the old charger that didn't come with the phone. So now it will say measuring. Right, so at the moment that's charging, I mean it will vary, but that's charging at 90 milliamps. There is a bit of a bad connection on the lead, which is not going to help, but I'm going to show you the charger is only capable of 500 milliamps anyway. So you can see it's low numbers, it's 220 milliamps. Yeah, okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it into the charger that was actually supplied with the phone. So unplug it from that charger using the same lead. There we go. So now that's 1190 milliamps, over 2000 milliamps, 2400 milliamps. Now this charger is actually only rated at 2 amps, which is 2000 milliamps. So you can't go by the figures on here completely. I just wanted to show you the difference between the 2 chargers. So basically, looking at this, it looks like using the proper charger, even though the same USB cable is being used, using the proper charger, it's going to charge up probably around 10 times quicker using this charger than using this old USB charger. I'm going to show you the different chargers now, and you will then understand why one is charging much quicker than the other. Right, okay, so this is the charger that didn't come with the phone. Now if you have a look here, this was for a very old phone from years ago. If you look closely, you will see there where it says secondary, SEC, that's what this particular charger is outputting. It's outputting 5 volts at 550 milliamps. So doesn't matter what your phone wants to draw, even if your phone wants to draw 1 amp, which is 1000 milliamps, this charger is only going to give it 550 milliamps. Now if we look at the proper charger that come with the phone, so if you have a look here, it says secondary. It can also be down as outputs. You see 5 volts at 2 amps, which is 2000 milliamps, or 9 volts at 1.67 amps, which would be 1670. So this particular charger allows for fast charging. a lot of the new phones are fast charge enabled. So this particular phone uses either 5 volts or 9 volts. Some of the better phones can use 12 volts. So I think sometimes it's called Turbo 1 and Turbo 2 charging. There seems to be different names for it, but basically it just means it will charge your phone quicker. So although my phone can charge quickly using the proper charger, if I was to plug in another older charger, then it's not going to be able to quick charge. So if we have a look at this one here, this is a charger from an old tablet, and it is a nice charger, but if you have a look at the output, which is the same as the secondary, so don't look at the input. Input is what goes into the charger. The output is what the charger pushes out along your USB cable. So the output, or secondary as it's also known, is 5 volts at 2 amps, which is 2000 milliamps. But this one hasn't got the option for the 9 volts, so this will not enable quick charging. So basically, a very important thing to do is make sure you use the correct charger for your phone. So if your phone comes with this charger, then use that charger. Don't just use any charger because it fits, because that will take possibly 5 to 10 times longer to charge than the charger that came with the phone. Now, the good thing about these chargers, so this is the quick charger one here, you can still use this with another phone. So I've got another phone here, my wife's phone. This is a new phone, but it doesn't allow quick charge because it was a slightly cheaper phone. So not all phones have the quick charge capability. But this phone here, although it doesn't allow quick charge, I can still use this charger on it, and all it will do is it will charge at the 5 volts 2 amps, which you've seen earlier written on here. So this phone here, although it doesn't allow the quick charge, it's not a problem to use this charger on it, because the phone will just draw whatever the phone needs to draw, and in this case it will be the 5 volts. It won't step up to the 9 volts. And other devices as well, like this iPod 6 here, I can also charge this using this charger. Obviously I would just have to use the iPod Lightning lead from it. So don't worry about the fact that it might have a higher ampage than your other chargers. So for example, if your phone charger is just a 1 amp, so 1000 milliamps, you can still use your other chargers on it. So basically what I'm trying to say is that you either use the charger that comes with your phone, or if you are just going to pick one charger, make sure it's the best charger. Make sure it's the charger that allows quick charging, because then if you use this particular charger here, it will allow quick charging on the phone that it supports. But if not, it will still charge the other phones and the iPods and stuff. Okay, so that's the chargers out of the way. So now let's talk about the cables, because a USB cable makes a big difference as well. So often you can tell by just looking at them the quality of them, but don't always be fooled by that, because it depends on the wires on the inside. But just to give you a quick example, these are 2 old Apple iPod cables. This one, the white one, is the genuine Apple version, and this one is the cheap Chinese knockoff that was, I think it was only about 70 or 80p. It's really cheap. Now, to begin with, you can tell that this is just a nasty product compared to this one here. But as well, if you look at the cable, then if the camera will pick that up, but the white one is actually thicker than the pink one. So you can't always go by that, because sometimes the sheath could be just a bit thicker. But that's a bit of a giveaway that you know this white cable here is going to perform better than the pink one. But if you actually want to look at the numbers and the specs of the cable, what you can do is, if you look closely at them, they will be labelled up. So for example, this cable here, it says on it, if you look closely, let that focus in. Right, if you look on it there, it says 28 AWG 1P plus 28 AWG 2C. Now AWG means American wire gauge, and it basically means the thickness of the wires. And the smaller the number, the thicker the wire. So basically, the smaller the number, the better the cable, because it's using thicker wires. Now, where it says 28 AWG 1P, that first one there, 1P means 1 pair. So in USB cables, it's made up of 4 wires, and 2 of them will be data and 2 of them will be power, to provide power to the device. Now the 1P stands for 1 pair, and they're the data ones because they're a twisted pair, so the wires are like twisted round each other. And then the 2C, so if you have a look there, it says plus 28 AWG 2C. 2C just stands for two conductors. So they're not twisted round each other, they're just two conductors because they're being used for power. Now, this cable here, although it's actually quite a nicely made cable and it uses pure copper wiring and plenty of shielding, it wouldn't be the best for charging up your phone because 28 AWG 1P is fine for data, so you'll find a lot of them are 28 AWG for the data. But for the power ones, you can get some cables now that go all the way down to 20 AWG, and that's a huge difference. So to put it into perspective, 24 gauge, so AWG 24 is 60% larger than AWG 28. So if you had a one here that said 28 AWG 1P plus 24 AWG 2C, that would mean that the actual power wires in it, the ones producing the transmitting the power, would be 60% larger. So it is a big difference. So that's what these numbers mean here. Now if you have a look at different cables, a lot of the phone cables are not labelled up, but if you have a look at them, you will see it might be written in slightly different a slightly different form. Let's have a look at this one. Right, so this one here is a better cable because it's 28 AWG, one pair, so that's again the data wires, but the power cables and this one are 26 AWG, so that's a little bit thicker. So this cable would perform better than this cable when it comes to charging up your phone. So the thicker the wire, the quicker the phone will charge because there's less loss on the cable. Now I think this is the best cable here. So on this one here, you see it says 28 AWG 1P plus 24 AWG 2C. So this one here, 24 AWG, this would be 60% bigger than this cable here. So although if you look at them, you see this top one here has thinner wires, but yet the overall sheath is thicker. Probably because it is actually a well-made cable because there's plenty of shielding on it. But as far as the power is concerned, this bottom cable will charge the phone quicker. That's if these markings are genuine. Remember, if companies are going to fake things, then it's very easy just to print anything they want on the cable. If it's a fake cable, they could print anything on there. But if you're interested in this sort of stuff, check out Amazon because you can get cables. They're like specialist cables that go all the way down to 20 AWG. So they might be 28 AWG when it comes to the data, the twisted pair, but when it comes to the power, which is the important one to charge up these phones, they can go all the way down to 20 AWG. So they are specialist cables. Now another thing to look out for is basically the price of the cable. So here we've got two cables. Now this is the 28 and 28 like I mentioned earlier. Unfortunately this cable here is not labelled up as anything, but you can tell just by looking at it which cable is going to be better. So I've opened them up, and if you have a look at the bottom one, you can see it's got copper conductors because you can see they're like a gold colour, a copper colour, and also there's plenty of shielding. Look at all this shielding here, the braiding and the foil. But if you look at this cable here, which is a lot cheaper, this cable, if you have a look, they're aluminium conductors, so they're all silver. So although they're 4 wires, and they actually look, I can't tell with my eyes whether they're the same wire gauge or not, they look very similar. Maybe these copper ones are slightly thicker. I think they might be ever so slightly thicker. I mean, if they are, this would probably be then 30 AWG. But if you look at it, it's all aluminium, and also look at the lack of shielding on it as well, and you can tell just by looking at them two now, one cable is much better than the other. So I guess what I'm saying is, don't just get the cheapest cable you can find, because otherwise you're going to end up with something like this. And if this is costing, you know, like £1, for example, you know that that's being made for pennies, in which case then you've got to think about the cable on the inside. It's going to be aluminium, and also it's going to be so thin, it's just going to cause you problems, because A, it's going to break a lot easier, but secondly, you don't want to be sitting around waiting for your phone. Normally it's not a big deal if you just charge your phone overnight, but I had it recently when I went on a stag do, bachelor party, as you know it in America, to Bristol, and basically I forgot my charger, and my phone the whole time I was there was just, you know, like 3-4%, and then I would go back. I was borrowing my mate's charger, and it wasn't a very good charger. It'd be, you know, I'd only ever have like 10-15 minutes because we were so busy to charge it up, and I could never get more than 1% on it. While I know if I had my proper charger with the proper cable, then even in those, like, you know, whatever 10-15 minutes, I could have probably got a good like 20% charge on the thing, which would have got me out of trouble. But yeah, so that's it. So not only do you have to check out the chargers, you've also got to check out the cables as well. So the best thing would be to use your supplied charger, and then you could go and get yourself a decent lead. One other thing that I didn't mention as well is the distance as well. It's better to have a shorter lead rather than a longer lead. Now I know it's going to be not very convenient sometimes, because sometimes a power supply might be far away and you still want to use your phone, but the longer the lead, the more loss you are going to have on it. So if you want your phone to charge quickly, then it would be better to get a cable with a small American wire gauge, so nice and thick gauges for the power, and also a short length as well. So if you're going to get, for example, a 50cm lead, it's going to work a lot better than a 3-meter lead. So I hope you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up if it helped you out, and please subscribe for more how-to videos. Take care. Bye now.